I want to talk to you about something that happened to me the other day. Now, sometimes we can take this a turn in this video, as I said in my opener discussing what my YouTube channel was all about the weird and unusual. I had something happen to me the other day that was weird and unusual, and it's something that has been going on my entire life, basically. So it's something I want to talk about, so stick around.
And now, we interrupt, disrupt, and crash this station.
The man fighting for peace, his legacy, truth in a sea of stupid.
Filtered for your sarcastic enjoyment, Ghost Getter.
Sorry, folks, it's been a while. I don't like to do just random YouTube videos for nothing. The whole purpose of this channel is supposed to be the weird and unusual. And just like my entire life, there's always been strange things that have happened. And this is one of those things that happened to me the other day, or a week or two ago. But I wanted to talk about that and something else as well. It's kind of a common problem I have since I can remember. But I've received a call. Like always, everybody gets random calls on their phones, and it goes straight to voicemail because they don't want to answer them, whatever it is. Most of the time, my calls are blocked. If it's like a robocall or something like that, it gets blocked. But this time, I got one with a strange message. It's some female speaking in Mandarin, and it almost reminded me of, if you look up the weirdest ham radio signals or recordings ever recorded. It reminded me of that. It kind of sounded like an ad, but it was in Mandarin or Chinese or it was an Asian language, and at least I think it is. And it repeats itself. It has two words, or maybe more than two, but it to me sounded like two words, and then the same two words again, and then it hangs up, which is very odd, and I don't know what it is, but I want you to hear it. But I'm going to play the first one, which, the odd ham radio signal that people have talked about as one of the weird ones. So listen. Goes on for about 30 seconds. Now, they say this is from possibly Chinese military or drug cartels, whatever it is, but it's random numbers that were caught on shortwave radio years ago, and she's spouting off random numbers, like every three is a random number, and no one is sure what it is, which is creepy because you can find a bunch of these on YouTube. And of course, random numbers, like I was saying, and numbers are basically used for everything. It's used in religion, God-related, the Bible, spiritual. It's used in music. It's used in Hollywood. It's used in just about everything you can think of on a regular basis. It's used in the military, shortwave radio, intelligence, all that stuff. And so it's an odd thing, and it's something I've been dealing with for the random number things for going on close to 30 years. And so this one I got on my phone the other day, which is probably the weirdest one. So give this one a listen. And if you know what it is, let me know. But more than likely, I'm not going to have anybody that understands it, because I certainly couldn't. Does that not sound kind of like the same thing that I played earlier? Now I'm going to play them back to back, and I'm going to do it a shorter version of it. The first one I played from the ham radio, and this one I played, which is a message I got on my answer machine. And you tell me if it doesn't sound close or close to it. Now, I made it longer. It was only 2 words and then the same 2 words and then it hung up. But I made it longer repeated so those of you out there can pause it or listen to it longer that you may understand what it's saying. But I'm going to play them kind of back to back. And I'm going to shorten the other one because it's 30 seconds long. And you tell me if it doesn't sound similar to what that one is. Here comes the ham radio. And here comes my message on my phone. Now, I've had these issues. I've had issues my entire life, but I've had these issues with strange numbers and things for eons, since the late 80s, early 90s. Now, it's either random messages like this, but most of the time it's numbers. What a lot of people don't seem to do or understand is numbers are important when it comes to spiritual, godlike, or paranormal. I think numbers are the most important thing as far as signals and things like that. No one really uses numbers as important as it is in paranormal or anything like that. Especially when you see them on TV and things like that. This is where I get into what irritates me about people like Bob Larson or people in different other types of religions that are, I believe, are false religions or false paranormal TV shows or whatever it is, because it doesn't fit the motive, or the mojo or whatever, MO. It doesn't fit it. Okay? None of this stuff is being used when it comes to the MO, when it comes to that. Personality traits, characteristics, numbers, codes, messages, all that stuff is never being used on these shows and is never being used when it comes to other things. And by the way, no one still answered me about why does a demon need an interpreter to understand Bob Larson. People still can't get that. They'd rather get mad at me for calling him a fraud by calling me a fraud, which is basically hypocritical. But my point is, and I'm trying to get away from that right now, the numbers. There are 2 numbers that I never gotten, but are really strange. In 1990, between 92 and 94, somewhere along that, I got these numbers on my pager. You know, back in the day when you had pagers, you got numbers. Some of them I understood, but there were some I didn't get. And the reason I understood them is because if you look at a dial tone phone that is, you know, rotary or whatever, it has each number, I think, except 1 or 0, has letters behind them. And when I know it was my ex, it's because back in the day when we were an item, she would always punch in numbers, meaning letters, from the phone when I was talking to her. Either my name or saying I love you or something like that. Would punch in those numbers, and there would be certain coded numbers to let me know who it is. Only her and I knew this idea, came up with this idea and knew this stuff. So anytime I would get a phone call and it was just somebody pushing numbers, I knew it was her, and then it would hang up. Because I'm dealing with coded numbers and things like that for years. I'm not a mathematician, I'm not the greatest, and I'm not Einstein, but I do deal with coded messages and things like that quite a bit. I look into them a lot because they turn out to be very, very serious and some very important. And there have been many times when I've been on investigations where these numbers, not those I'm telling you or in particular, show up, but there have been quite a few times where there have been things numbered in sequence. Now, even recently, which is BS to me, for someone to say that I'm the bad person and they never did anything wrong would have their ID or their name on their AOL or Instant Messenger and their name and the last digits of their name or whatever is my ID backwards in reverse, which in the paranormal, witchcraft, occult, things like that, they always use numbers in reverse. Is too much of a coincidence for someone to use their name and my ID in reverse. Too much of a coincidence. And I noticed this happens quite a bit. So back in the day, to tell me that this was the person doing it, is I received numbers on my messenger or my pager that would speak out in words using a rotary phone. If you take the numbers and you look at the rotary phone, they would spell out sentences or words. And the only person that knew that I would understand this is her. And I would get these on my messenger or my pager quite a bit. So I understood it because they always spelled out something. Sometimes it would say it's me with my name, things like that. But there was two of them that I still haven't gotten to this day, but one of them is very odd. The first one is 83657. I gotten that on my messenger one day, and there was someone that told me that during the turn of the century or whatever it would be, the millennia, whatever, which is in the 2000s, I would be dealing with this number. Now, my clock-in number that I moved away from Dallas to Lubbock, my clock-in number for my first job that I gotten in that town was 83657. I did not ask for that number. I did not, hint around about that number. And I remember thinking about it because I've forgotten about this number for a long time. And I remember thinking, where have I heard this number before? I could not figure it out until it dawned on me. These were the same numbers that I got on my messenger years before. I think this was like 2002. 2002, 2003 is when I got this as a clock-in number that I would clock in every day at a job I gotten. So 92 and 93 is when I got this number on my messenger. Then somebody told me that it was, futuristic and all that, which I don't believe in psychics or whatever because I think that they're being told this stuff by, they don't realize they're being told. I believe they can predict things, but I think they do it because demons are telling them this. So it's kind of manipulated. And until you can prove me otherwise, then that's when I know it is. But there's another number, 0090090, I believe it was. 0090090. I think that's what it was. Yeah. Anyway, I've forgotten. But I believe it's 0090090. And to this day, I still cannot figure out what that number means, but I gotten it on my messenger. Some people have told me, well, it could be drug dealers. I got the wrong number and they send you messages. Because drug dealers send out messages through pagers and it could have been an accident. They got your number wrong, all this stuff, because I'm not into that. Never was into that. But it is odd. And I said it couldn't possibly be that because only this person and I knew how to code numbers. Those were the only two numbers I could not understand. I could not figure it out. I tried it in reverse. I've tried it upside down. I've tried every single thing I could possibly imagine about doing, fixing this and finding this out. My next video, I'm going to tell you about the gang stalking and how I caught this person in the act on several occasions by using numbers. And I was very good at it to the point where it scared the hell out of me. But anyway, I've never figured this out, but these are the things that I have that I'm talking about and I want to do more videos of. That is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. So if you can figure that out, let me know. But for me, when I heard that, somebody made a joke and said, it's going to, it's one of those mind control Manchurian candidate things and you're going to, you know, be mind controlled into doing weird things and go after politicians or whatever, like the movie. And I said, nah, I don't think that's it. It could be just an ad, but it is odd, and it does sound similar to the ham radio one. Very odd, but like I said, this is just a part of some of the strange things that I've encountered in my lifetime. And notice that I have no proof of this except for the message. I don't have any proof of any of the stories I'm telling you because they managed to do it where I'm not able to physically show you with a document or physically show you in writing, or the evidence could definitively say, here it is right here, because they managed to do things behind people's back to where you can't prove it. Kind of like in the paranormal, they always do it behind the camera, so on and so forth, which is also a characteristic that is not flying when it comes to watching it on TV and everything, because whatever it is not doing exactly what, because it's a lot more complicated than these paranormal investigators seem to be showing you on TV. A lot more complicated. And I think the reason they don't do that is because people that are watching wouldn't understand complicated codes. So anyway, that's all I got for you for now. But like I said, stick around for the next video that I'm going to have when it comes to this and how I use numbers to beat out the gang stalker in the past. Like I said, I'm not a mathematician, but I was very good at it, and this is how I did it. So thank you for watching, and like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Listen to the station 24/7. Please give me a thumbs up or something, because after the new rule that YouTube might be cutting people loose if they're not making enough money, and I don't make any money doing this, which is sad. I'm going to have to find a new venue to do my videos, because after YouTube cuts people that don't make any money, which means thousands of accounts are going to be deleted. Who knows what I'm going to use next for you guys. So I'll try to find another venue. If you can come up with something to give me, let me know. But until then, see ya.
熟悉查询请按2，由专人为您服务。熟悉查询请按2，由专人为您服务。
Hey everybody, don't forget to check out Reverse 96 FM on TuneIn, Streema, and now InternetRadio.com.